Well, here now to react to today's hearings and all of the information that came out today, Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst. Judge, today we also had reports coming from Fox News, our own James Rosen, that in fact another Justice Department official seemed to be involved in anti-Trump bias and allowed that to somehow steer his investigation, in particular his association with the Trump dossier, which we know was paid for by the Clinton folks and the DNC. So are you concerned that, in fact, instruments of the U.S. government were used in a politically biased way during the election?
I'm shaking my head listening to the clips that you and Melissa just ran, and the mess with a capital M, David, that the Justice Department has become. The Trump, Jeff Sessions Justice Department trying to answer questions for the Loretta Lynch, Jim Comey Justice Department. Look, I am concerned whenever a government takes its eye off the ball or whenever the tools of law enforcement or intelligence are used for political purposes. Right. But I am also, from my prior life with which you're familiar, I'm also not naive. I don't expect that FBI agents would be sanctimonious. You know, as I said to you in the hallway, the crime for which General Flynn pleaded guilty is lying to FBI agents. It's not lying to Mother Teresa. They have their biases like everybody else. They're supposed to be tough, hard-nosed people because those are the people we want at the front lines of law enforcement.
And
but if a political bias causes them to overlook real evidence or to create fake evidence, well, then they can't be on the case.
Or to use instruments that you have been criticizing for years. And I got to say, I've argued with you on this point before about the FISA courts and the FISA warrants, which some people say were necessary because of 9/11 and the terrorists that followed. You've argued for years that the biggest danger of this is that it will eventually be used for politically partisan purposes in order to get a political opponent. Is that what was done in the election?
Yes. Yes, that was clearly what was done. Look, it is clear that General Flynn lied, but prior to the lie, a transcript of two conversations between General Flynn and Ambassador Kislyak, who's really a Soviet intelligence agent, showed up in the Washington Post. Now, we know that the West Wing had asked for those transcripts in the tail end of the Obama administration. Somebody there caused it, either by looking the other way or by handing it out to get into the Washington Post to humiliate the president-elect Donald Trump and the designee-elect to be National Security Advisor General Flynn. That was the brash use of the most highly sensitive instruments of national security, surveilling intimate conversations for political purposes.
And let me
destroy democracy.
Forgive me, but we're running out of time. I just want to talk about the Trump dossier for 1 second, because it was, a lot of people say there were anti-Trump forces within the Justice Department who used that dossier, which was created with the influence of a lot of Russians, as we know now. It was paid for by the Democratic Committee, and that might have been used to get a FISA warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. Here's what Congressman Jordan said about all this earlier today. I want to get your reaction. Play the tape.
You call a dossier full of all kinds of fake news, National Enquirer garbage. And it's been reported that this dossier was all dressed up by the FBI, taken to the FISA court, and presented as a legitimate intelligence document, that it became the basis for granting a warrant to spy on Americans.
Judge, was there collusion? We hear a lot about collusion, but was there collusion between anti-Trump forces in Justice Department and the DNC using this Trump dossier to get FISA warrants?
Boy, David, if I could answer that, that would be the $64,000 question. I don't know. I am familiar with the allegations. I don't know of any evidence in support of the allegations. If it happened, if the FBI knowingly presented a false document to a federal court, whether it's a secret court authorizing them to spy or a regular federal court authorizing them to seize evidence, that's a crime. And whoever presented it ought to be prosecuted for it. On top of that, we know that the NSA spies independent of the warrants. I don't think the FBI does, but the NSA does.
Okay, we got to leave it at that, Judge. There's a lot more to say, but you have been warning us for years about problems with the FISA courts, and now we see the chickens have come home to roost. Judge, great to see you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.